Gary Null has been fighting for your freedom of choice for 35 years. He has been a major voice in challenging Big Pharma, Big Agra, Wall Street, the insurance companies, the military-industrial complex, and the FDA. Gary Null was a major advocate of getting rid of DDT and other toxic pesticides. He has completed more than 300 investigative reports. He has testified before legislative bodies as a voice for the voiceless.
Anyone on Prozac is 12 times more likely to attempt suicide. This is a criminal act. And I want to know why these criminals are still walking the streets.
If you thought shock treatment was a thing of the past, you're wrong. Electroconvulsive therapy is making a comeback. It does not help depression, it does not prevent suicide, and the patients coming out of this treatment can have more problems than they did going in, including death.
Hello, I'm Martin Sheen. The film you're about to see, Fatal Fallout, produced and directed by Gary Null, traces the entire history of the nuclear weapons and energy industries.
8 legislators have asked to close the plant. But the industry that supports nuclear facilities say, no, it's safe, there's not a problem. What if there is an accident? What will happen to all these millions of people?
In all your lifetimes, women weren't allowed to run a marathon. Who was right? All the medical authorities that said you shouldn't run? Or the woman who ran the first Boston Marathon and was tackled, physically tackled, by the race director? Who was right? Why can't we simply say that it is really immaterial how beautiful you are? It is the beauty of your spirit, it is the beauty of your nature that counts.
Psychiatrists involuntarily commit African Americans 3 to 5 times as often as they do whites. Psychiatrists diagnose African American men in public and private mental hospitals as having schizophrenia at a rate of up to 1,500% higher than white men.
The first psychiatrist in America, the man whose face still adorns the American Psychiatric Association seal, Benjamin Rusk, he was the one who coined the phrase nigritude. He's the one who said that blacks were black because they suffer from a form of leprosy. Therefore, cure their leprosy and you cure them of being black. And you can imagine what that led to.
More than 100,000 of the service personnel that served in the Gulf are claiming that they are suffering from Gulf War syndrome. What is it the Pentagon, the Defense Department, the Veterans Administration fears by being open, candid, coming forward and laying all the facts before the American public? 2 ex-CIA employees asserted that the CIA had evidence of up to 60 Gulf War incidents of American troops' exposure to chemical weapons.
Well, there is absolutely no doubt that the United States government aided and abetted Saddam Hussein's chemical and biological warfare program.
The number of unnecessary antibiotics prescribed annually for viral infections is 20 million. The number of unnecessary medical and surgical procedures performed annually is 7.5 million. It is evident that the American medical system is the leading cause of death and injury in the United States.
Each morning in the United States, between 6 and 7 million children are given a prescription medication before they can go to school.
The doctor told us that he thought the drug Prozac would help Jacob. I found my son hanging in our attic.
Stop putting drugs into kids and telling them they're disordered in some way.
I believe that Eric Harris was literally driven crazy while taking this antidepressant drug.
About 20% of children with autism will regress between often the first and second birthday. So statistically, it has to happen where some children will get a vaccine, they will have been fine, they get the vaccine, then they're not fine anymore.
you kind of lose touch with the real world because most people don't want to be around your kid.
There's a death of what you wanted for your child and what you thought your child was.
The HIV, Hep B, DTP, and the polio vaccine.
All in one day. Regardless of all those things that were still going on with him, he received all 6 of those shots in one day.
I, in effect, arbitrarily trusted my son's life to a stranger.
You cannot walk into any pediatrician's office and ask the doctor, "Doctor, are the vaccines you're about to give my child, are they proven safe and effective?" Without exception, every doctor in America will have to say yes. If they said no, then you would reasonably say, well, why are you giving them to my child? Is it a human experiment, a social experiment? What is it? So they're saying yes. Now there's a little problem here. When I went to the scientific literature, I could find not a single study anywhere that proved that a given vaccine would be able to prevent the disease from occurring in your child and also maintain safety. And if you doubt me, then the next time your doctor wants to give you or your child a vaccine, simply say, will you give me a written promise that if I'm damaged or my child's damaged, you will personally pay the bills? I'm a scientist. I'm a PhD in human nutrition, public health science. I'm a professor of graduate sciences. I'm a research scientist in anti-aging medicine. The very first rule is never assume that where you're beginning is the right place. Take a step back. We've assumed that vaccines are safe and effective. The cost of doing business ended up causing 43,000 Americans to die from one drug, Vioxx. And Vioxx came out in 4 years. It killed 43,000 people, injured 125,000. And yet, they settled a lawsuit for $4.85 billion, and their stock went up. My God. Where else but in America could you kill 43,000 people and get a raise?
You're wrong about the measles. We'd have an epidemic of measles. In fact, the only time we've had an epidemic of measles when everyone was vaccinated. And here's the article, here's the study, here's Chicago, here's 1989, here's the school district, here's their vaccine records. And the largest amount of people ever died of smallpox died in Germany in the year that there was 97% mass immunization with the smallpox vaccine. And also in Japan and in England the same way.
Let your voices be heard.